Where are my keys? Now, where would you keep a key? Oh.
Almost no one has been asking me how I start my replica Cobra with the RFID chip embedded in my hand, but I'm going to show you anyway. First off, let's just do a walk around of the car. It's a replica of a 1966 Shelby Cobra, but it has been wide-bodied. And under the hood is a little bit scandalous. Let's take a look. The engine's been sourced from a 2005 Chevy SSR, but most of the parts on it are Corvette. Now let's take a look at the chip in my hand. I have the next chip right there. Maybe you can see that. The next chip is from Dangerous Things. I'll leave a link in the description. It has been embedded, I don't think you can see the mark, about a year ago. So it is about the size of a long grain of rice. It is encapsulated in bioglass, and it actually has two antennas on it, two different frequencies that it operates off of. So it doesn't have a battery. It only sends out a signal and gets power from RFID or radio frequency. This chip has high and low frequencies. The high frequency is the NFC that can send packets to your phone through the NFC communication, and the low frequency RFID, which is what we'll be using to start the car. Installation of the chip was something I didn't do on my own. It comes preloaded in a sterile syringe, about a 4-gauge needle, I believe, and I wanted to make sure I didn't get it too deep so that it wouldn't read well, or too shallow so that it would work its way out. Also, I was too chicken. Fortunately, not far from me is a certified piercer who was experienced in installing these. So they injected it here with that syringe, and then over time the mark heals and it finds a spot that it migrates to. So we can even test out the RFID on the phone. If I hold that chip against the back of my phone, it pops up and pulls up a website that I have preloaded in there. So this only works because I have a digital guard dog car starting system installed underneath the dash. And that system allows me to have a key fob, keep it in my pocket, and hit the start button. Now, I've taken the battery out of this so that it doesn't trigger the car to be comfortable starting. But what's really necessary for the chip to work is that it has a backup antenna and a backup key. Now, this little key badge here, emergency bypass card, is actually an RFID badge with their sticker on it. And originally, I had the antenna placed underneath my hood. So if my key battery died, I could just set that right there and the car would start. Keep that in your wallet, keep it in your trunk, whatever, that could work. But we're going to eliminate that because what I've done is I've used the Proxmark 3 to scan this card here to get the details off of it, to get the chip ID, and I've cloned it to the chip in my hand. Now, this is a much better antenna, so it reads easier, but this one still picks up well enough. So I've removed the antenna from underneath the dash, and right now I have it just hanging here. And if I scan this card, you can see the blue light lights up, and now the car is ready to start. All right, so the light has gone out, and I'm going to demonstrate how this chip can be read with that same antenna. And this is kind of an awkward way to do it, but there it goes. And blue light is on. Car is ready to start. But this hanging down is kind of awkward. So we're going to put a mount on there that I've 3D printed. All right, so I have added some 3M adhesive. And we're going to install that right underneath there. Do a good long press. Now this won't be permanent because a 3D printed mount is probably, I printed it in PLA, so I don't think that that's going to last in the hot summer, but this will be a good test for getting it going, and then maybe I'll produce something a little more permanent or make it out of ABS. Find a way to route the wires too so that it's not just hanging out there, but that's not too bad. Let's see if that works. Okay, so the chip is oriented in this direction, so I need to get my hand right there. It worked. Blue light came on, and she's ready to start. For those worried that the chip could be used to To read credit cards, those are quite a bit more sophisticated and difficult to hack. So no on that. Unfortunately, in some cases, you can't even get an embedded credit card device in your skin that will last longer than just a couple of years. It's not really worth it in the U.S., at least. And for anyone worried about the government tracking them through a chip, have you seen vaccine needles? They're pretty thin. The chip is like a large grain of rice. This is a very similar technology that your dog has for tracking. If you think about that, your dog gets lost. They can't immediately find it. Somebody has to scan the dog's chip in order to know the information on it that will tell them who the owner is, where to find them. The needle for these is about 4-gauge needle. As big as they are still unpowered. There's no battery in them. For this chip, I often find that I have to place the reader on my skin, so I suppose if someone gets within a few millimeters of my skin, they can probably track my location. Truth be told, whatever device you're watching this video on is a much better way to track you. I will leave links in the description for all the equipment used, other than the car, I guess. You're on your own there. All right, now, let's take her for a spin. Now, where's my wallet?